Yeah, good morning, students. How are you today? I hope you're fine there at home. Well, here again, this is Regina Pacis online teaching platform, and my name is still Mr. Prosper. And today on mathematics, we'll be checking angles of elevation and depression. Just before we go into the topic properly, the following things I expect you. These are things I expect you to know by the end of this lesson. One, to explain angles of elevation and depression, and to solve two problems on them. Alright, what is angle of elevation? This is the angle formed between a horizontal site and a certain object at a height. For example, this is me standing before you, and then this marker is placed at this level, for example. And so, if I look just straight as the level of my eyes is, that's the horizontal side. Then if I have to lift my eyes from the horizontal level and face it up towards this marker, where this marker is, I'm going to form an angle between the horizontal line of sight and then the line between my eyes and where the marker is. So there's an angle formed. That angle formed is what is called angle of elevation. You can see the diagram on the board. This is somebody standing, and then first he looks straight along the level of his eyes, and then next he raises his head up to see or to observe an object up, and then by doing this he forms an angle E degrees, or angle of elevation. Alright, the next is angle of depression. Now, how can you, before we get to angle of depression, how do you get the size of this angle? You simply use your protractor. The protractor in your mathematical set is what you would use, and place it exactly at this point and get the size of this angle. Alright, what is angle of depression? This is the angle formed between a horizontal site and a certain object at a depth. This is at a height, and this other one is at a depth. Now, what does that mean? Now, let's assume I am standing here, and then, or rather, this is someone standing at a height. Let's take this marker for example. Someone standing at a height, and first he looks at alongside the level of his eyes and observes, and just looks straight. After that, then he brings his head downwards to observe somebody down here. For example, me, I'm standing here. Somebody there wants to observe me, but first he has looked along his level of the level of his eyes, and then next he looks downwards to see me standing down here. Now, by looking downwards, he has formed an angle between the horizontal side, that's the level of his eyes, and myself that is standing here, whom he wants to observe. And that angle formed is called the angle of depression. So you can see that well explained in this diagram, where somebody is standing at a height. First he looks there, that line of his eyes is called the horizontal side, and then next he brings his head downwards to view an object down here, and then by this he forms an angle D degrees, which is the angle of depression. So the next point is that there is a connection between angles of elevation and depression. Alright, like I said before, you can as well get the size of this angle using your protractor there in your mathematical set. Now, what's that connection between angles of elevation and depression? It is simply this. Observe Mr. A down here and observe Mr. B up here. Now, Mr. B looks along the line of his eyes, and then next he looks downwards towards Mr. A. By that, he forms an angle D, which is the angle of depression. Then Mr. A on his own part first looks along his line of the eyes, along the line of his eyes, and then next he raises his head upwards, and then to see Mr. B. By that, he forms an angle E, which is the angle of elevation. So there is really a connection. Now, we want to establish that angle D is equal to angle E. The reason is because they are alternate angles. So whatever angle D gives you, that's what angle E will be as well. So the angle of Mr. B from Mr. A is equal in size to the angle of depression of Mr. A from Mr. B. They are alternate angles. So you can measure it using still your protractor on your mathematical set. Thank you for listening. Next is your assignment, and it goes like this. You can see the picture on the board. This is X, box X, and this is box Y, and that's the sun. So you have to measure the angles of elevation of the sun from box X and box Y. So the thing is simply to draw this diagram and then get the angle, the size of the angle here. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Get the size of the angle here. We're using your protractor. And next is house E and house F. And then you have to measure the angles of depression of the pit. Look at the pit. There's a pit, and then there are two houses upwards. The angle of depression from the pit from house E and house F. So you have to find the angle here using your protractor. I believe you know how to use your protractor to measure the size of angles. Thank you for listening. Here comes the end of the lesson for today. Have yourself a nice day. God bless you.